What's up? What's up? What's up? Damn. We're a little bit early tonight, but we're going to do it anyway. Let's get going on. Let's get it going on, folks.
Ever since my eyes met the world, I was breaking through the chains like a match to a flame. I was born against the grain. Oh. They say I'm broken in the brain, got a shot of kerosene in my veins. But hey, they better be concerned now, cause it's my turn, and I'm only getting hotter. Take a step back or you might get burned, cause I'm a fire starter. I'm a fire starter. Yeah, I rose from the trenches and the fumes, got defiance in my bones to the soles of my shoes. And oh, I got a thirst for breaking the rules. You can try me, but I got a short fuse. But hey, they better be concerned now, cause it's my turn, and I'm only getting hotter. Take a step back or you might get burned, cause I'm a fire starter. I'm a fire starter. Look out for my flames, baby, cause I'm dangerous. I am a fire starter. Ever since my eyes met the world, born against the grain. Take a step back or you might get burned, cause I'm a fire starter. I'm a fire starter. Look out for my flames, baby, cause I'm dangerous. I am a fire starter.
What's up? What's up? What's up, people? How's everybody doing tonight? I see there's a crowd already gathering, the torches and the pitchforks. Everybody's getting ready to hunt me down like I'm Frankenstein's monster. Thomas McDill in the house. What's up, ma'am? Corn Nuts here. We got Rick Ross. We got Thomas. Yeah, we got Thomas. We got Clapback Adam. We got Quaid, Franco Quaid, and Kenneth Wayne. What's up, guys? How are you guys doing tonight? So, we got a couple of things that we're going to talk about tonight. It's going to be kind of a mixed bag, but I got a email from a fella, and it gave me a good idea. I love giving credit to where credit's due. It's an excellent idea. Now, what he did was he sent me a list of a breakdown of what he's wanting to do to his vehicle, and we're going to go over that. He wants me to critique it and also possibly change up things and maybe save money here and there and still get the same outcome. So I think it'll be a kind of an interesting show. And we're going to jump over there. By the way, guys, what do y'all think about the background right now? I'm not done with it. You know, I want to do some different stuff, but I have to try to have it in a state of functionality. I got, Boney Jeff back here. He's chilling with the kicker sub and doing the thing. Franco said, I love the intro. Thank you, man. You guys, slam that like button. Thank you, Franco Quaid. Let's see here. Try to make sure I'm not missing anything. All right. So let's jump over here real quick. I'm going to show you guys this list, and y'all are going to help me with this. So we're going to look at it and we're going to talk about it. This is a participation situation. So Let me see if I can figure out how to make this thing work. Um, let's see here. We're going to start with this. So I made a copy of the list over here, and I want to show you guys what we're working with. To start with, um, this mic is not exactly making me happy. Okay, so the build is in a 2015 Tundra. It's the 4-door version. I couldn't find anything that says anything about CrewMax, but I did find that equipment. So that's what we're working with. He's pretty excited about using the Horizon 10 paired with the DM810. So for you guys that are not in the know, the Stinger Horizon 10 is a big old fancy head unit that has some extra tricks in its bag. And of course, the DM810 is a digital signal processor, 8 in, 10 out, made by Audio Control. Well, apparently, and I'm not familiar with this, but apparently, these two are designed to work together in concert. So that's interesting. Let's see here. And Rick Ross said, "Thank you." Yeah, Kyle did too. What's up, Kyle? Uh, and well, it's Bobby B and Corn Nut. Everybody's in the house. So what we're looking at, we've got what I'm figuring is that we probably want to leave this stuff the way it is because I think he's really excited about using this setup, and I would be too. It sounds pretty unique. A head unit that ties directly into your DSP is pretty freaking cool. It is pricey though. We're eating up a considerable chunk of budget with that, but still, it's cool. So for the speakers, we're looking at $1,100 in total. Now, I'm not familiar with Karma Mobile, okay, but I did go take a look around and kick the tires a little bit, and I'm not going to say anything bad about them. They seem like they have a pretty good product for, especially for SQ stuff. The pricing seems to be reasonable for the quality you're getting. But again, I can't speak on them personally. I haven't heard any of them. I haven't had enough time to really dig in deep or anything. So we're going to have to go with an assumption that it's a reasonably good sounding piece of kit. Okay, because I don't have anything to base that off of other than just my gut. Now, what he's doing up here in this vehicle, there is a 6x9 hole in the front. There's a tweeter location. There's a 6x9s in the doors. There's tweeters up there in the sails. There's, I believe, 6.5 inches in the back and like a 3-inch somewhere back there. I'm not sure about the 3-inch, but that's what I'm gathering from this. And so he's chose to run with a 6x9 pair, and I think these are probably multiple ways, like 2 ways or something like that. Not really sure. I haven't looked that specific one up yet. Then a 3-inch mid-range for the rear doors, and then a 6-inch component set. So the 6-inch component set will utilize the 6 in the rear doors and then the tweeter up front, which is a good use of equipment. It's a good way to spread the love. I'm not a fan of rear fill, but some people are. And if you've got, a pickup truck, a big old double cab truck, and you want to put people in the back and you want them to actually be able to hear the mids and highs, maybe you want to put something back there. That's your own personal taste, and I get it. And we're doing an audio control 10-inch sealed to spec for the subwoofer, an audio controlled sub. And then for the amps, I like the fact that he's going pretty good budget on this, and I agree with it. The Stinger 1005 for mids and highs and front stage and sub, and then the Stinger 600.4 for mid bass and the doors. That's a very good economical way to amplify your system. Let's see what's going on over here in the chat real quick. Blah, 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 blah. Clean background. Thank you very much, Kyle. Um, let's see. Don't forget the thumbs up. Yep, yep, yep. What's up, Stu? Stu's Custom Shop is in the house. Jason Ewing is in the house. Smashing that like button. Good stuff. All right, so right off the bat, do you guys have any concerns about this so far? Because I'm curious to know how everyone is feeling. Anybody had any experience with karma? Now, I'm looking at this, and the obvious place to save money is in this combo, but we can't do that because I think this is the core of the build, and we don't want to do that. And for $1,100 to do all your mids and highs and your sub and your, let's see, am I adding too many things? Let me see here. I'm going to grab my math device. 200 plus 300 plus 200 plus 400. So that's 1,100.
200 plus 300
All
plus
right.
200 plus 400 is what?
Now, so that's that plus then. So that's all the mids and highs and the sub. And then the amps for $345. That's a really good deal. So it's a hard time beating this. But what I'm going to say is, what I'm going to do is, instead of trying to rebuild this, because I think he's put a lot of legwork into this already, and I think it would be really hard for me to go in here and correct very much. I'm going to show you some alternatives and explain why the alternatives. I think that's what we're going to do. Stu's popping in, y'all. Pay attention. Pay attention to that, Kyle. Let's see here. Let me switch to the other thing. So let's go do that. Bear with me while I make my brain do things my brain does not want to do. Replace screen window. All right. Now we're going to go over to Crutchfield, and I've already took the liberty of using this site. So for those of you guys who don't know about Crutchfield, first of all, I'm very sorry. You've been doing it the hard way for a very long time. The first thing we do is put in our information for the vehicle, and we've got it listed for the 2015 Tacoma. And I'm looking at some different stuff. Right now, I have it pulled up looking at, I have selected oval speakers, and I'll explain why. Notice I have specifically selected oval over here. The reason is, unlike a lot of people who have a hate for 6x9s, I think that they're fine. I think that the added cone area from those is going to enhance your bass up front. And I have never seen a real advantage in going to a round 6.5, which is what people tend to do. I was like, oh, that one's oval. You should go round. I mean, why? I mean, I don't get it. There was a time when 6x9s didn't sound that great because they were pieces of crap. They were just mass-produced pieces of crap. But today, even the mass-produced pieces of crap still sound pretty damn good. And I like to work with that cone area. So I chose to select that as one of our points. I want to point out some drivers that I have had really good luck with in the past, and a couple of also options. So these Alpines are one. The Alpine R2s, they're not cheap, okay? But they do come with the tweeter and the little crossovers, which you won't be needing the crossovers, but the tweeters, this could technically do your front stage with just these two guys, right? And right now, you've got a 6.5 think a 6.5 and a 6.5 and a something in the back doors. We could eliminate something and just put a 6.5 in the back doors. So if you went with this for your front stage, I think you would be extremely happy. They have a good high power handling capacity. Uh, they have it's a magnesium hard dome tweeter, a 1-inch hard dome tweeter, which means it's going to be clear and clean up in the very high parts of the twinkle. It's also going to cool well. Metal dome tweeters act like that metal dome acts like a radiator for the voice coil. So it can actually help keep the tweeter cool, which means you're less likely to blow it, which is good because we're all stupid and we like to turn a knob to the right way too much of the time. These are pricey, but I'm a huge fan. And if I'm picking equipment based on equipment, like not name brands, not trying to match name brands, I'm not trying to, do all of that, lip service to the name brand companies. We're just talking about making the thing work. I got a lot of faith in these guys. If you notice the roll on these speakers, it's very similar to the Type R. And Type Rs are notorious for being extremely tough and having a good, clean sound. So, I mean, it's an excellent driver. Excellent driver. Has all the options you could ask for. So it's one pick in there. And of course, it is, like I said, a two-way set. So this would do your whole front stage. If we go back to this list, there's another one that I wanted to show you. Where is it at? I got to find him. You guys, bear with me. It's Alpine. That's at Memphis. Yeah. The audio control. This is another option. You are going to be running audio control equipment. And, again, name brands, who cares? But this is a two-way speaker, and it's a point source. Now, this isn't ideal for your front stage because that tweeter is going to be mounted low. But me personally, I like to have double tweeters in the front. I like a tweeter mounted where the woofer is, and also a high up tweeter up somewhere high in the cabin. I don't have an issue with double tweeters. Not everybody's into that, but it is a thing to consider. And so that is an option, but that wasn't the one I was looking for. This is another setup, but this one has the coaxial version. The Infinity Promise is actually a really good set for budget system. There was, that Infinity reference system right there. That's actually a pretty good setup too. It comes with tweeters as well. So there's several sets in here that come with tweeters. There's an audio control set right here that comes with tweeters. Of course, it comes with crossovers as well, but this one would be pretty well ideal for you. It's actually the same price as this, or it's less than what you got picked out already. It does come with these little crossovers, which you don't need to use, but it comes with a really nice mid driver and really nice tweeters. So that's one potential pick that would actually bring your cost down some. And when you order anything, if you order from these guys, you can get a lot of the equipment for free. So like in this case, you're going to need this part, and this part. And they'll literally send you all of this stuff for free. So you can put this in your cart and have your adapting rings. All this stuff is that comes with it that's needed to mount this in your vehicle is going to come for free in the cart. I think this is a really solid choice for your front stage, for the whole front stage. Now, when you go to the back, why not match it up? We don't need to, but they make a 6.5-inch set just like this that would fill in your back. So you can load those guys in the doors, put the tweeters up high, and then you've got a complete audio control setup. So what's after that? Well, the Stinger amplifiers are going to be pretty much impossible to beat price-wise and still get a good piece of equipment. So that's a thing. However, if we're saving money, because it looks like to me we're going to be looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of $650 for the speakers, that leaves us about $450 we could spend on the table running different amplifiers if we want to. But this is just an option. Let's go over here to the chat and see what's going on in the chat window. Um, all right, let's see. Okay. I vote ditch refill and the 5 channel. Yeah, that's always my vote. I'm not a fan of the refill, but like I said, everybody's entitled to their own. Stu says audio control DSPs have mixed reviews. I'm going to run one myself, but lots of people talk down about as far as them losing tuning randomly. And that's never good. Something that forgets its tune, that's a big freaking deal right there. I'd say, yeah, that's a huge problem. Mike Harris said Karma are well-made speakers. And Kevlar, Kona's Kevlar with titanium coils. Nice. Yeah, Stu says I have a Helix. I have a Helix DSP Pro MK2 for you. Oh yeah. Um, let's see here. I got it. Franco Quaid said I got an Audio Control 810. I haven't hooked it up yet. Gotcha. Stu, let me go that way. DM 810. We sell those through the shop. Cone area is king, even when it comes to mid bass. You better believe it. I'm a huge fan of cone area, man. Stu's trying to sell his equipment. I mean, Corn Nuts trying to sell Stu's stuff. That's pretty funny. Get her done, man. Y'all just work it out. Let's see. Stu said rear doors. I'd go with 6.5 coaxial and save 2 channels. Yes, that is exactly what I said. 6.5 coaxial is going to be totally fine in the back doors. You could run. You're still going to need mids and highs in the front, so that's 4 channels, and then the back channels is still 2 channels. So you're still looking at 6 channels plus your subwoofer channel. So you're still going to need to cover 7 channels, but we can continue on. That back door is only 6 inch. Is only a 6 from the 6.1 set. Building an active 3-way. Okay. Yeah. You're explaining it. Building an active 3-way using the 1, 3, and the 6x9. Right. So you're wanting a 3-way up front. Okay. Fair enough. I did see a good 3-way 6x9 set. I'll have to go back and pull it up. I'll show it to you. The front stage is like 99% of what you need. The back stage can actually take away from your front stage. So if you do a 3-way in the front, I saw when I was looking earlier, I was doing quite a bit of research on this. I really was. I don't know if there's a. See, if you go over here, oftentimes you can select things to weed out different stuff. But I don't see what I'm looking for there. That's fit, and it's not going to show it. But there's a 3-way set that I saw earlier. I want to say, I don't remember now. I looked at so many different things. So y'all have to bear with me. I'm straight up. My brain is just on full shutdown mode. I found a pretty nice 3-way set in here. If you haven't been, yeah, they're being a bitch. If you haven't been over here, man, to check out what's available, this is a really good source for fitting. Because it's going to tell you what's going to fit and whether it needs something to fit. And if it does need something to fit, they're usually going to give it to you for free. That's huge, man. I think Kicker has a 3-way set with a 6x9. I think Rockford had one. I saw one, I think, by Audio Frog. There were several. But anyway, that is an option. There is a 3-way set, and I I want to say it wasn't terribly expensive. Still, I like your way of thinking. Don't get me wrong. I like the way you're thinking. I'm having a hard time offering uh, any type of upgrade to what you've got listed because you got some pretty good shit picked. There's only one thing that I would do different that I would say would be a good alternative, and that's in your subwoofer choice. The one that I'm going to recommend is going to be significantly more expensive, but um, let me see something here. Hang on a minute. I want to see if it's listed here. It isn't even showing up. Behind the seat, no. Under the seat, no. Do. Yeah, this doesn't fit the Toyota. Um, but finding one of these that fits the Toyota would be a huge upgrade. They're going to pay for it though. It ain't going to be cheap. You're looking at $1,000 plus pretty much anything. But if you can find one of these JL stealth boxes that fits in there, it's worth the money. And I know it sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. But when you put power to it and start listening to music, you will absolutely not be sad that you made that purchase. You'll be very happy that you went that route. Let's jump over here and see what's going on in a thingamajigger. Um, the the JL stealth box with that TW3s and TW5s, there's just nothing that's going to give you the bass that will, and the smoothness and the quickness and the tightness and all the nesses. Man, there's just not another subwoofer or enclosure out there that's going to give you that kind of response, especially in a low profile setup. Now, if they don't have a stealth box for your rig, just picking up a TW3 or a TW5 and building it into a very small enclosure back there, save a bunch of money as long as you're willing to build your enclosure. But if you look at a really, really good custom fit, you know, uh, like perfectly factory match type of thing that's solid and gives you all the right airspace and does all the right stuff with all the hardware and a subwoofer, $1,000 is and plus is totally reasonable for all that. So I don't think it's a bad choice, but you could always build one. Let's see here. I go back up. Stew. Okay. Yeah, I had to make sure I'm in the right location. Uh, y'all are trading, man. It's funny shit. I haven't heard the KS yet. They sound like I'm highly recommended. Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak on them. I would have to go by what I've heard, and I got good sources and stuff, but I can't lay my ears on it. So, um, uh, what's up, High Beam? You said my dad's 2002 Highlander came with JBLs. Yeah, I'm sure that I know Toyota's stereo system factory, if they got the JBL system, is actually pretty damn good. I've heard the stock systems and they don't sound bad at all. That said, I can't leave well enough alone. Um, Stu's up here said, "What's up? Cubase makes a dual 10 coated box that fits well behind that seat. Key to the subs in the Tacoma is deaden the back wall for the box and bolt the box down." I find that's extremely important in any pickup truck. That back wall is a horrendous noise maker. So you need to pull to get to get to the metal and deaden the crap out of it. And you may want to put a mass loaded vinyl over the top of that. It's like a sheet. It looks kind of, if you think of the little blanket they put on you when you go to get an x-ray, if you're getting your face x-rayed, they hang the thing over your chest. It's kind of like that. It's like a blanket, if you will. So after you deaden that material, put that blanket over it. That blanket's going to block like 80% of any noise that comes from the back of the truck forward. It's absolutely phenomenal how much difference it makes. Get that back there, and it hangs loosely, so you attach it up in the corners and the top and stuff, and it just kind of hangs in there, and you put your stuff in behind it, and it creates a really good sound barrier and keeps a lot of the noise and the heat from the back of the cab from coming in. Your rear passengers will appreciate the hell out of the heat blocker because it gets warm back here sitting in those little seats in the back of that cab over the top of the exhaust pipe and the muffler and all that, and also noisy. So doing that properly and then bolting your subwoofer enclosure down under there, yeah, I completely agree with all of that. You need to really focus on that. That and any door that you're going to put a fairly large driver in has got to be sound deadened. We already talked about that. Yeah, yeah, a Kicker LT7. Yeah, sure. I can't speak on whether or not it's up to the same snuff as the JL TW3 even or the TW5. Um, but if Kicker builds it, it's not going to be bad. So I would put money on it being at least in the same ballpark, just because they don't produce anything that's not at least reasonably good. You know, they don't have anything that I would scoff at. Um, yeah, and no problem, Kyle. We're enjoying it. Scar has a few vehicle specific enclosures too. If you're going sealed, yeah, that stealth box tax is a bitch, man. But I've had two of them. I'm not speaking out of my ass here. I've made that purchase once, and I didn't even think about making it twice. I just immediately looked up the stealth box and made the purchase because there was no decision to be made. I already knew how good it was going to sound, and I knew it was going to fit perfectly, and I knew it was going to look stock in the end. I knew it was going to be perfect, and it was. That's why anybody asks me, I'm always recommending it because you cannot go wrong. You will not be unhappy with it. I've had other boxes that I wasn't happy with. It just is what it is, man. And they're so small. Uh, but, you know, work with what we got. What's up, El Fuego in the house from the Pacific Northwest? L710s do very well, Stu said. Comp RT also. And the Slim JL subs are great choices. Yeah, that's what I was saying, the TW3. TW3 is the 300 watt RMS sub. The TW5 is a 500 watt RMS sub. I've used both, and if we're honest, your ear won't tell the difference between the two of them. One will handle a little bit more power and get a little bit more volume, but they're going to sound virtually identical in the same enclosures. So you just, whichever one you want to put emphasis on, go for it. Stu said, hey, Fuego, let's see. Toyota with the, Stu said, if you got the Toyota with the Mark Levinson, be prepared to whip out the whole wallet. Yeah, right. I'm glad El Fuego made it to the show. Sound Shield is a great deadener for behind the enclosure as well. The foam layer helps decouple. That's what I was talking about with that blanket. I don't know for sure what it's called. I've always called it a mass loaded blanket or a mass loaded. Essentially, it attaches in the corners, and then it doesn't actually attach anywhere else. It's just a barrier between the back of the bed and you, and it's decoupled pretty much completely, other than anything that like gets up against it. The amount of sound that it actually stops is incredible. Like you could put 15 layers of the stick-on sound deadener on that back wall and get, one reading, and then take all that off and put that blanket back there and get 10 times the reduction in sound by itself. It's a huge deal. Like huge. I say doing both though. If Fuego says Taco Tunes makes boxes for the Tacoma Auto Show. Oh, great name, man. Uh, how about the B2 DSP 610? Absolutely. But the problem, and I would have recommended that, but he's got a really neat setup where he's using both the that head unit and the DSP that work together and give you the interface on the head unit and all that. If you're trying to save money, I can help you in that department. That's probably the one spot where you're spending a lot and you don't really need to, is in the head unit DSP combo. I mean, we can cut that I believe it was $2,100. We can cut that down to probably less than $1,000. But you're not going to get that cool factor. And this is a thing that you interface with all the time. It's the thing you touch and read and look at. I get it, man. If that's what you're wanting to run, I get that. If you're up in the air on it and you will be willing to compromise in different ways, I can definitely point you towards some other stuff that might, equally blow your mind. Bobby B said, $3.99 for the three-way or $1.98 with Andy's 50% off coupon. Hell yeah. What's the combo about? We're talking about a build that we're improving on. So, well, we're trying to. We're actually just sort of digging into alternatives. I don't know what I did with that file, but yeah, we're looking at a build for a Tacoma, for our 2015 Tacoma, and we're doing the whole entire build for it. The stereo, everything is coming out, and it's all new. So that's kind of what we're talking about. Mass loaded vinyl, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that in a vehicle in the right locations makes a big ass difference. And the one spot in a vehicle where it always works is behind the back seats on the back of the cab. It's the perfect solution back there. That's what you want. You can put, go ahead and deaden it with normal stuff and then add that sheet in there. If you can, it's going to make such a tremendous difference that you will be happy about doing that. It's a big sound blocker and noise blocker and heat blocker. And heat, there's a lot more heat comes up from there than you think. Bobby said, Treater Pods from 115, customspeakerpods.com. Yeah, you could do that. But he's already got a Treater location. He's got all the locations for the stuff up there already. Let me just put this out there, okay? I could set up a whole entire build off of, most of the build for you off of the companies that I work with. And that would benefit me, but that's not who I am. All right. So you asked me an honest opinion, and I'm giving you honest answers, as honest as I can. You said you wanted to build an SQ build on a budget. Focused on SQ, not focused on loudness. And I already see the stuff that you've picked out and what stuff you're looking at. And that tells me what stuff I should try to work with you on. Could you put Slapz gear in there and have it sound awesome? Yes. But I would be hypocritical to try to say that it was going to sound as good as a driver that's more geared straight towards sound quality. It's not. It's going to be able to sound 90% as good and get a whole hell of a lot louder and be a whole lot less expensive. But it's not the perfect solution for you. Do you need custom speaker pods? Again, I benefit from selling custom speaker pods, but you don't need them based off of the stuff that you're wanting to do. That's why I haven't pitched that idea. It is solid, I mean, you can do some really cool stuff with it, but you've already got a 6x9 location. You've already decided on that. These are all things that I could offer you and I could point out, but I like to be as neutral as I can. When people ask me for an opinion, I don't want to sell you something. I want to point you in the direction of the correct thing. I do tend to work with people that have products that I feel like are the right thing for most situations. So usually I can point towards one of the sponsors, but not always. And I just want to keep that fair. That's how I roll. I installed Stealth Box in the Forerunner, an audio control, 100 T3. Yep. That T3 is a beast. I'm telling you, man, those Stealth Boxes are freaking absolutely badass. Stu said, no telling how much of that MLV we ripped out of the trunks and the caddies back in the 90s, right? Yeah, no shit. Let's see. The Horizon, the 10 Horizon, the Stinger 10 Horizon. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. That's what you were asking. Yeah. The Stinger Horizon 10, Kyle said. Kyle's the guy. Kyle Hart. If you guys hadn't figured it out yet, Kyle's the one with the list. I wanted to let him call it and not me. Because we didn't talk about whether I would have mentioned his name or not. So I wanted to let him speak up. If you decide to go with the DM810, having that Horizon up front will be handy, being able to control the DSP from the radio. Exactly. See, there's a cool factor, and that's why I haven't touched that two pieces of gear, because it's the bling. It's where your hand is in your face. Put your money in that, because that's what you're touching and looking at and messing with all the time. It's really where you want to put the money at. Now, that said, there are some wicked good systems out there, stereos that will work in that vehicle. We got one that my buddy uses for a lot of builds and a lot of stuff. It's got a rotating screen on it that does portrait or landscape. It electrically rotates. It has a absolutely gorgeous screen and a great sounding interface and all that. You could, that thing runs around $1,000. You could pair that with something as simple as the B2 610, and you're looking at, $1,200 for the front stage, and that's $1,000 saved right there. So, I mean, there's ways we could get around that, but I think you're really wanting that setup, and I understand that. So that's why I haven't even suggested changing it. Play It and Live It said, yeah, I got the B2 Audio DSP 610 with the restorer, and the bass is tight. Yeah, I like my B2 guy. I've been playing with it. I play with it quite a bit. I don't have it on the wall right now, but I have had it up there and playing with it. There you go. You got to talk to Corn Nut, Kyle. Let's see here. Stu said, that's the same radio DSP combo I'm planning in my truck for the same reason. Yeah. SQBL focus on DSP seal. What's up, Sub Dino, man? SQBL focus on DSP seal with as much cone area, unless blow through is an option. And yeah, I don't think blow through is an option. Not many people want to go that crazy. Tuning is going to be the most important part of an SQ setup, in my opinion. Absolutely, Stu, you're right. Oh, son, what do I think of the new Trunks Under Lithium 10K version 3? I got one coming next week. Yeah, there's one coming next week, baby. Um, it's nasty, man. It's nasty, nasty battery. Um, Me and Brandon have been talking about it quite a bit. I mean, there's not a lot of lithium out there that can handle the temperature ranges that this thing is handling, and he's done the whole thing with this heavy copper hardware, so there's going to be no voltage drop or any kind of losses in that. I think it's going to be. I think it's a really wicked battery. Uh, let's see here. Cornell said, "I'm opinionated, and push the products I love. In the end, I let the customer choose." Yeah, absolutely. Um, Guys, I need to take a little break real quick. I'll be right back. We're going to watch a taco.
Crushing on these tacos, we buy the fiesta. Guac on the side, man, you know it's the best. Lettuce and salsa, stack it high, make it pop. Crunch in my mouth, can't stop, won't drop. Scissor in, flavors cold is so sweet. After one taco, I'm in for a repeat. Bite after bite, got me dancing in my seat. Hitting up the taqueria, can't face defeat. Taco love in every single bite. Feeling good, every feast all night.
Cruising down the back roads, windows roll low, with the music blasting, bass and that flow. Remembering the bonfire, laughing with my crew, jamming on the corner, soaking up the view. Every beat's a memory, every song's a spark, feeling so alive, yeah, out here in the dark. Cranking up the radio, rolling through life, loving making memories, music cranks high. Do you feel that freedom? Can you hear the call? Those back road memories calling to us all.
Oh, we're back, guys. Sorry, I had to make a restroom run. The old man bladder was calling, and it wasn't taking no for an answer. Let's see here where we are. So, Subdano Man said, "What's the power limit?" I'm not sure what we're referring to here. So there's a lot of things happening in there, and I don't know. SQ build, okay. Yeah, he's not doing anything big, crazy. He's focused on sound quality. Yeah, the B2 610 is an excellent choice, dude. For one, it's tiny. And in a truck, I mean, space is a premium. It's an excellent DSP, especially for the price. Holy crap, man. The price is juicy. And I want to show you here. There's a few different ones, but I'm going to look up one real quick for you. One of the ones. I know you, the reputation is not great, but when it comes to head units, let me show you an example of what I'm talking about here. Hang on here. There we go. So, as an example, this is made by Boss, these radios. It is not the same company. It is the same company, but it's not the same company at the same time. Their radio selections are awesome. And like I said, I got a buddy that owns his own dealership, and he installs these things constantly and has had nothing but great luck with them. So if you're looking for something very similar at a lot lower price, this is one of the options that I would push you towards. Only because I know the reputation, I know how good they sound. I personally have put my hands and ears on these radios, and they are great radios. You're going to get all those big boy features at a much, much, much lower price. And there's a whole bunch of them. It isn't just that one, that I'm showing you here, but there's just tons of them. They have a very wide selection of stuff. And this is very comparable to the stuff that you're looking at too. So you can find good stuff in the Boss world. You just have to understand what you're getting and pay attention to it. So this is not a cheap radio. They have a really nice heavy glass, literally glass screen. Very solid construction. It feels like a premium piece of kit. There's nothing cheap about it at all. That's one of them. The other one, I can't think of the name right at the moment. It'll eventually pop into my head. There's another radio manufacturer out there that builds big, large screen radios, and for whatever reason, the name isn't hitting my head, but it's the other one that I would recommend looking at. This piece sealed with a much cone area. Yep. Tuning is going to be most important. Yeah. Yep. I'm catching up here. Caught a customer, pretty big bill that I'll probably end up with 2 of those trunked under 10Ks. Oh man, that's a lot of freaking power. Lot of power. Emmett Bishop's in the house. What's up, Emmett? The tacos.
Crushing on these tacos, we buy the fiesta. Guac on the side, man, you know it's the best. Lettuce and salsa, stack it high, make it pop. Crunch in my mouth, can't stop, won't drop. Scissor in, flavors cold is so sweet. After one taco, I'm in for a repeat. Bite after bite, got me dancing in my seat. Hitting up the taqueria, can't face defeat. Taco love in every single bite. Feeling good, every feast all night.
Oh man, I love the taco dance. Let's see here. Emmett Bishop says, Super Chat says, 5, says, check out the Doo 7. Oh, God, dude. That name. Okay. All right. I'll look for it. Give me a second. I'm a kindergartner, man. I can't help it. Oh, wow. I type like one, too. Okay, yeah. I've used, yep. From AliExpress. I've got, okay, so this radio, you guys can't see it. Give me a second, though. Yep, that's the mic button right there. Yeah, I have, okay, so, yeah, and there's a bunch of different models. Let's pull up an AliExpress thing here. Hang on a minute. All right, so this is what we're looking at. There's a I don't want to allow you to You don't need to know where I am, China boy. All right. These guys here, these are all, was that different colors? No, it's different models. Yeah, they're all different models. So depending on what you're looking for, um, the main thing is if you see over here in this top left-hand corner, that mic and reset button, um, and also the way the case is angled, the specific angle of everything. And if we get in here and dig a little deeper, I bet the software is the same. Yep, there's those same brackets that come with the tools. So there's a few different companies out here that produce, that basically put their name on the same products. But that doesn't mean the product is bad. It just means that you can get that same product from different manufacturers. And depending on which you pick, that price can get quite high. But we're looking at, you know, 8-core, 12 plus 256 gigabytes. Not sure I understand the nomenclature there. It looks like there's a DSP built into it. But the point is, you can pick these up and you can get these from AliExpress if you want to buy them that way. You can also buy them off of Amazon and whatnot. But the point is, they're hit and miss, and depending on which ones you get, like the same exact radio can come in a version that's a complete piece of shit, right? But the one that this guy sells, where he actually puts a good processor in it and puts a lot of RAM in it and puts a nice screen on it and does all the stuff. Now you've got the same radio that looks identical, but it will be a completely different experience. And so I've bought and used and installed a variety of them, and usually there's good results. The only complaint I had was one of them, the screen went out. It sounded phenomenal. It was one of the best sounding radios I ever ran, but the screen went out on it. It was like a plasticky screen and it went out. And another one had a lot of noise, had a lot of floor noise. But that was 2 out of the 5, and the other 3 were all lasted for a long time. I ended up pulling them out and trading them out for stuff, but they were still perfectly fine when I pulled them out. One of them is actually still in my Tahoe right now, supporting my tablet. So yeah, I mean, there's something to be gotten there. Just you got to be selective about which specific thing you buy and pay attention to the stuff it comes with. And if you're going that route, the things I'll tell you to look for off the bat are a glass screen, not a plastic screen. You want a glass screen, preferably a Gorilla Glass screen. You want the upgraded memory and the upgraded processor. You want both of those to be up there, because those 2 things are going to make the radio feel like garbage if they're not. Those are the 3 things that you want to look for. If you get all 3 of those things, the rest of it's going to work great. Stu said, I am back. Had to go get tea, and then I remembered I was making tea when I came in here. Welcome to being old, baby. You made me thirsty. The taco song, yeah. What's up, Gomez? Love it. The taco song is awesome. What do you think about using the CompQ 15 box for a Solo X15? I'd do it. I don't know about the space in it. I don't know if they're, as long as the space is reasonably close. If you're going with a slightly larger box, then you want to keep that in mind, that you may be a little bit hot on the power. Maybe you need to back it off a little bit. It's also going to lower the tune and stuff, but yeah, probably not a bad setup. A pro tip: avoid Timo. Dude, I have Temu pestering me for ever to sponsor my channel. But the thing is, every time I went to look at the Temu site, I swear my balls started itching. I got a VD from going to the site. I did. I got the Temu VD, man. I felt like I was straight up getting the clap or something every time I went and looked at that site. That site just scares the hell out of me. I don't want nothing to do with it. Hell yeah, man. Let's see here. If I go, Bobby, that's different because you gave it to me. Hell yeah. Oh, Emmett. Emmett says, more tacos. More tacos.
Crushing on these tacos, we buy the fiesta. Guac on the side, man, you know it's the best. Lettuce and salsa, stack it high, make it pop. Crunch in my mouth, can't stop, won't drop. Slimmers is in, flavors cold is so sweet. After one taco, I'm in for a repeat. Bite after bite, got me dancing in my seat. Hitting up the taqueria, can't face defeat. Taco love in every single bite. Feeling good, every feast all night.
Guys, by the way, in that taco video, there's a little mom and pop taco shop here in Springfield, Missouri, that had a little short video clip on Facebook, and that's where I got the background for all that food. That's all a local taco shop, and I can't think of the name of the place right now, but I've been there once, and the food was amazing. Thank you. And Emmett says the brand is Mocade, best company doing Android radio. I'll keep that in mind, my friend. And thanks to the tip, thanks for the tacos. Like I said, I've had hit and miss results with them, and for the money, it works. I don't even run a stereo anymore. That's where I'm at. I've bypassed. I have moved on, and I skipped the stereo and went straight to a tablet, which is natively Android, and it does all the same things. Stereos have essentially tried to turn themselves into a tablet, usually a pretty bad tablet. And so I just said, screw it, skip the tablet, skip the stereo, and just install the tablet. And that's what I run. I don't even run a stereo. But, you know, I got a bad taste with those Android radios. To be fair, the ones brought to me are cheap Amazon ones. They never worked right. Hit and miss. A Toto is pretty good. I've installed a couple of a Toto radios, ATOTO. And I haven't had any bad luck with them. I got one. Yeah. Now, see, guys, I'm not just going to talk out of my ass. I've literally got one right here. You can see it hasn't even come out of the box. So, I mean, it is what it is. This thing has never been unwrapped. But I've had two more. I had three of these. And the other two are both in vehicles and working fine. So I had good luck with them. This one, I don't know. Brand new. Still in the wrapper. That's a nice setup. Is my audio still working? I turned my volume down and I can't. Oh, there we go. There we go. So, Yeah, I'm not. It's just I got stuff. I got lots of that kind of stuff. I got a whole another one sitting over there on the shelf. It's not in the box. It's just sitting there, and I've anyway. I got a closet full of random ones that I've tried in the past. I've got plenty of experience with them. Play It and Live It said, resetting my amp gain today. I realized that whatever's your highest voltage from the speaker output on your oscilloscope is not clipping as you're divided by. Oh Lord, you put way too much math in my head just then. I'm gonna have to go back and build that equation in my skull. Um, I don't know. You're making my head hurt, but I'm glad you sorted it out. uh, I mean, I don't know, dude. I set my amps right now. I'm running 2 amps um, on 4 subs, and I what I did was real simple. I turned the gain all the way up on both amps, and I measured the voltage on both of them, and and one of them was a tiny bit higher than the other one. It was very little difference. Then I turned each one of them up to where they were clipping, checked that out, and I ended up finding the lowest, uh, the one that clipped first in the voltage. When I turned it up, I found the one that was clipping earliest, and then I set the gain to that clip. Then I brought the other one up to the same exact voltage as that one. That's what I did. I mean, on a 40 hertz sine wave generator. And then I tested it on the music that I actually play during demos and stuff, which is rebased, crazy stuff. I give it the full plate of beans. And what I usually go for whenever I'm setting my gain is I want to be able to get into clip at the very top of my bass knob. So this is personal to me. I want to be able to push it into clip at that last, say, 5 or 10% of my bass knob. And the reason is if I do get on a meter, I want to be able to get that last little bit. If I want to push it that far, I can. I have the option from the driver's seat. So I set mine up to where I start the clip at about the last 5% or so of the knob, the last little tweak, and then I push into a clip on that last little bit. And normally I don't run it anywhere near clipping, but I have the option to on the fly, and that's why I set it that way. Fuego's box was designed and built by Corn Nut. That sounds like a good plan because I heard Corn Nut's a hell of a box builder. 5 cubic foot ported, if I remember correctly, turned around 32 hertz. It's a nice tuning. I'm a fan of like 26 and 28, but that's because I'm weird. But if I was building a box and giving somebody a tune that I think would work for pretty much everybody, it would be 30 or 32 hertz, somewhere in that range. That's pretty good for pretty much most people. Subdino Man says, does anyone know about digital sound quality? Are those issues with Bluetooth? I want to make sure my source is at least CD quality. Well, sir, let me tell you, there is a deep, there's a sector of people that are actually flat earthers that are also fight about Bluetooth signal. And these same people also believe that if you spend $1,000 on a power cord from the stereo shop, it'll make your stereo sound better than a regular cord that plugs into the wall. There's a group, okay? And anything you say about these subjects will absolutely start a war with these people. They're crazy people. They're all crazy people. And some of them are in the chat right now. They're getting the pitchforks and the lighters, and they're getting the hay and the fuel, and they're getting ready to burn my butt. So here's my take on that. First of all, a whole lot of the music that we listen to on a daily basis, for example, YouTube, Uh, YouTube literally cuts off every song at 10,000 hertz. Anything that you hear on YouTube, whether it be on regular YouTube or YouTube music, there is no frequencies being reproduced that are 10,000 hertz or over 10,000 hertz. It cuts them all off at that point. And nobody notices it because there's literally so little information beyond 10,000 hertz. Next part of that is depending on the output signal from the device. Okay, so you have the quality of the streaming that you're getting in. Tidal is a well-known one to have a good quality. Apple Music actually has pretty good quality. Spotify does too. Amazon does. But that's the first part. You get the quality of the stream, and you have what specific setting you have it on, because you can get more big high quality files from the same streaming service as lower quality files. Then you have the output device that you're streaming from, being your phone or your tablet, and what its radio is capable of, how many bits it's capable of. And then you have the receiving device and what it's capable of. And so you're whatever the lowest point in all of this is what you get. Now, see, I have a problem with this, and I'm going to explain why, because it's weird. The first thing is that I'll tell you is if I played you a track at a low bit rate MP3, and then I played you the same track at a much higher bit rate MP3, and I didn't tell you which one was happening, I don't think you would ever notice the difference. Having said that, though, this is where the problem comes in. So, all of these are fair arguments, but here's the problem. I was listening to Blackwater from Creedence or Doobie Brothers, and on a CD. I listen to it every day on a CD. It's like one of my favorite CDs to play. And it starts out with the little chimes. Da, 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 da. You know, the chimes are playing in the background and stuff. It's a really good track. And I listened to China Grove and a couple of other tracks off of that Greatest Hits album. Now, a few months later, I ended up switching out head units and some more stuff, and I was streaming. I went to stream this song, and this is whenever I received my first kind of weird moment. I was streaming off of a really good system, everything was high quality, up to date, high quality files, and I'm like, why does that sound wrong? I hadn't noticed it on any other music because it all sounded really good. But the one track and the few songs that I was deeply familiar with, the intricacies of the music, all the little nuances, I missed those. They were not there. And I kept looking, like, is my settings right? Is it, make sure that it's the highest quality? Just didn't do it. I tried finding it in different files and playing it, FLAC files and all that stuff, and it still wasn't getting that same sound. There's something missing that I did not miss for most of the music I was listening to, but I did miss it for that one. And I cannot explain why. And I am a pro Bluetoother. I literally have no other way to play music in my vehicle but Bluetooth, because that's what I roll with. But that situation, that incident I've never resolved that conflict. There is a distinguishable definite difference in the way it sounded. It did not sound the same. And there was just parts that weren't there. It was kind of mind blowing, man. Gomez, what's up, Gomez? Hey guys. So yeah, I don't know. The answer to your question, Subdono Man, is I don't know. If it sounds good to you, brother, roll with it. Hey guys, I want to get the Trunk Thunder Banger 5K V2. It looks to be a 45 amp hour. I think it's 50 amp hours, but I could be wrong. I currently have a 220 amp high output alt, Nexus Power, 96 amp hours of AGM under the hood with Big 3 and all gauge wiring. All right. Let's see here. Do you continue somewhere else? Because it sounded like you were going somewhere. Okay. Yeah, we'll skip back because here you go. Yeah, y'all. Let me jump down here. I have a 3,000 watt sub amp and a 1K amp for highs. Going to use battery oscillator for the lithium question. Is it a bad idea to play music at a tailgate with the car off? 45 amp hour lithium. 45 amp hours, man. 3,000 watts. You're gonna go through it fairly quick. You're pulling in 300 amps, so you can pull 45 amps for an hour or 1 amp for 45 hours. So you're looking at like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes tops. You know, so I wouldn't suggest that as a good idea at all. I hope that answers your question. Let's go back up here. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest doing that. It's going to be a good setup. But yeah, if you're wanting to play music with the tailgate off and the shit cranked full bore, you know, you're going to need to have a lot of storage. Give you a night. Well, no, that's not fair. That's not fair. I was going to say DJ Rusticle's demos like for several hours, but he has 1,500 amp hours of CMAX. So, and he's also like, I don't know how many watts, a lot, but he'll do that. He'll demo for like an hour or two without his engine even running. That thing's crazy. No, that's not. You're not going to have. I mean, if you turn it down, you know, as long as you watch the voltage on it, and it starts to dip down, you know, and get low, you square it away. But you'll go for a while. If as long as you're not running at full bore, you might have 30 minutes to an hour in it, depending on how hard you're playing it. But if you're playing it at full bore, you're looking at maybe 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. Amp hours are amp hours, man. All right, man. What's up, Alex? Cornut said, CompQ, they're steadily talking about this sub box back here. These guys, man, they're trying to sell each other stuff. Stu, Box, Bluetooth, yeah. Stu said Bluetooth is hit and miss. Depends on the phone and the radio. Yeah, I feel you. I can't say one way or the other because I've had weird experiences from both sides. Sub says I run an 8-channel Dayton audio with DSP built in. Yeah. Let's see here. Emmett. As solid as a Toto, probably more. I believe it. I'm just one of those people that once I've found something that doesn't blow up, especially in a field full of stuff that does blow up, I tend to stick with the one. But I'm willing to look into it. I'm always taking suggestions and good deals in car audio, man. Gomez says I have a three. Oh yeah, that's what he was talking about earlier. Let's see. Recommend anything that couldn't come. Start from scratch. Everybody be easy. Oh man, that's the world. We're all living that world, man. Don't let that stress you out. Besides charging the battery, let's see here. Cornette says the Toto F7XE is one of my favorite budget head units to install. You see what I mean? I like it whenever I get backed up. Some companies just consistently do a good job. Wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, Linux based, not Android. Yep. All that numbers, all that stuff. Absolutely, man. 100%. Besides charging the lithium battery when new before installing in my system, I need to charge it in any other situation. Say the car is parked for a week without turning on. Just monitor it. If it doesn't have an AGM in there with it and it's sitting by itself, and you don't have any draws on it, it'll sit for a long time without any problems. But if you got something like, me, I keep my tablet charged. So my tablet's 24 hours a day. My tablet's always charging off of that battery, to keep it up and running for whenever I take off. And I also don't drive, but maybe once a week or so. I keep mine hooked up on a charger just to make sure that it doesn't drop in voltage. But it just depends. If you're driving it on a regular, it'll be fine. It can take a lot of abuse, man. Those cells are literally designed for abuse. That's what they're built for. They were designed for the Chinese military to run around up there in Siberia and get shot at and stuff. They're tough. They're good cells, and they'll do a good job. Stu said, I don't know. I do not know. I do not know what he's talking about. One of these days, I intend to build a sixth order 2856 one day. I'm not sure. Is that the ratio you're looking at? The tuning. God, that's high, man. You might as well be playing mids, man. What the hell's wrong? Let me get my pitchfork. Hang on a sec. Oh wait, I don't have one. I have a crowbar out there, and I have the log. I can get the log and come after you with the log. I'm just teasing, bro. I'm all about like this. The sixth order that I've got. I've got one. I've got a sixth order design that I've got. They're right over here. That's going in the Tahoe. Y'all want to see that? Y'all want me to pull up the sixth order? Y'all want to see what's going on with that? That's going to be going in the Tahoe. I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up and show you guys. How about that? Y'all want to see it? Let's do it. Let's see if this works. That didn't work. Let's fix that. We're still on this thing. And I don't even have that part up showing anymore. I'm bad at this. This is Andy's shit. Andy's good at this stuff. Let's see. I think we're just going to do it this way. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll just do it this way. There we go. We'll do that. All right. So this, yeah, I know it's lines and stuff. So, yeah, this is the sixth order as it sits right now. And this line right here, is the dBs. And of course, this is 20 hertz. This is 30 hertz and 40 and 50 and 60. So 20, about 26 or so is when it starts to get busy, 28. And then it plays on up into the mid 50s. Um, we're building a compromise here, and you'll notice there's no dip in here. That's because this is pushed into a little bit more of an SPL curve. Still able to get this flat of a response for this length of time. I think that's awesome. That's very awesome. That's what we're looking at, though. And this box is probably, this is for 6 15s too, by the way, 6 Oblivion 15s. We're probably going to see high 50s out of this box. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm figuring. I'm probably going to bust a damn windshield, and I'm not looking forward to that part. But some of the specs we go down through, this got a cut sheet. So you guys see the cut sheet, the design of all this. This is the baffle. This is where the rear port, or the back port is right here. Sub locations. Each of these is all measured out cut sheets. They're all measured so you can go through and cut them. This is showing you how all the pieces that are in each of the different sheets. There's 11 sheets to this. All set up, all measured out. And we can go down through here. And this is, so here's your measurements. The back panel, 45, 29, driver's side. These are all the cuts for everything. Everything is all lined up, all the cuts. And how many sheets you need and what cuts come out of each sheet. And this is what you can expect to get from my buddy, the mad scientist. This is the kind of stuff he does. He gives every single measurement here. And you'll get a file that'll be even more complete than this. Let's see here. It's going to pull something else up, but my brain just said, screw it. I don't like you anymore. So now we're not talking, my brain and I. But if you guys, down in the link to the last videos, the last 30 videos I put up, you'll see a box building link there. If you want to get a box designed and built for you, head over there and check him out. Click on that link down there and check him out. And he builds them and he'll hook you up, man. Give you the whole thing. And this is only part of it. There's more. This is just a part that I had access to right at this moment that I can find. I can't find the other stuff that I'm looking for. But that's my 6th order. So yeah, we're all about it, man. Let's see here. Where are we at back up here? Okay, we're on that. 3K. Yeah. Yep. I'm going through the thing. I get so lost on these. Yeah, there it is, the 6th order. Okay. Kyle Hart said, crazy person, maybe compressed audio is a thing. And it is what it is, man. Like I said, I would have argued against compression artifacts up until that point. At that point, I didn't even know. I wasn't even looking for that. I was just wanting to listen to my music, and it didn't sound right. And it just didn't sound right. And I noticed it, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?" I was like confused. I don't know. It is what it is, man. And Stu is just laughing his ass off. Yeah. Play it and live it. Certain frequencies from a DSP can cause it to clip. Yes. So I went through all the frequencies just in case of a song that's badly recorded. Oh, I got you. So you're doing like a negative 5 dB or something like that on all your signals. When I'm tuning, I don't push anything above positive 5 dB. If I need to push something more than that, I will bring everything else down instead. It's a pain in the butt, a huge pain in the butt. But if you follow that rule, you typically don't get into trouble. Also, if you're using the B2 610 DSP, and some others. It actually has a limiter built into it, so it can do that for you if you push into a song that the mids are hot, or the tweeters are hot, and they start going into clip. That limiter will stop them from clipping. It'll literally actively reduce the signals before they clip. That limiter is really cool. If you're someone who likes to twist the knob all the way to the right and let it rip, that's a big deal, man. That limiter is cool. Kyle said, I prefer downloading the playlist on Spotify than plugging into with wire. Never trusting Bluetooth. I've said in SQ builds where it was noticeable. I don't care anymore about Phil Collins exposes. I love that track. It's one of my favorite tuning tracks. I liked using that for my sub and my lows because I can get those drums perfect. Get the subs and the mids and the mid basses all, the levels are all perking in, perfect. So it's a great track. But yeah, I if you've got the right Bluetooth, I don't think it's a Bluetooth problem. I think it's a compression problem with the MP3 files. I honestly don't think the Bluetooth itself is the problem. I think the weak link is certain compression algorithms destroy parts of sound that are noticeable. And it's not noticeable in every song because it just isn't. There's certain elements that just aren't there to begin with. And so whenever they're removed, you don't miss them. But in certain songs, those elements, once they're removed, become noticeable. And I think it's all about the compression. I don't think it's the Bluetooth signal. I think it's the compression. But again, to each their own. I am one of the tinfoil hat people. High res player or bust. Well, we all got to have our Grey Poupon, man, according to that. I don't trust tuning over Bluetooth connection. Yeah, it is what it is, man. It's everybody's working with what they got to the best of your ability. I've been tuning like 90% of the tuning that I'm doing is over Bluetooth connection. With the right equipment, it works fine. But if you're using something sketch, and I played with the B2 DSP for several hours, and I literally expected it to not be great. I expected it to be okay. I expected it to be satisfactory. That's what I expected. And I was hoping that it would at least be satisfactory. Well, I was wrong. It's great. The interface is solid. The connection is solid. I didn't have any issues with it. You're jacking up and having to restart it or any of that stuff. It just worked. Everything was in the right spot. Everything was easy to use. I was blown away by how good that DSP was. So at any price, just keeping it real, man. I wasn't expecting it to be awesome, but it actually is. The best way I can put it is that the people in charge of design and layout and the software and all the things, there were people doing that actually were someone that uses a DSP on a regular basis. Not just someone who designs them, but someone who's out there in the field, digging the foxholes. Because they did all the things that you want them to do. They made it easy in all the ways that we bitch about. All the things that are normally headaches weren't there. And that's why I said there was a DSP user involved in that software design. So yeah, it's great. Let's see here. Play it and live it said, take care. Oh, Fuego with Busted. Yeah, fantastic show. Thank you, Fuego. You have a good night. Let's see here. click all the buttons. Surely one will work. Yeah, no doubt. My sixth order plans are compact. The console build and for SQ testing. It's all theory crafting. Gotcha. Uh, it's whatever frequency ranges works for the music that you listen to. That's what you tune for. I mean, shit, dude. If you're listening to pretty much 90% of the music out there, 28 to 56 is perfect for SQ for like nearly everything out there. But I'm weird. I rarely listen to anything in the 40s. So my tuning is a little bit lower. And it's also a little bit more squished up to get a little more peak in the SPL department. I'm basically tuning it for lows and for wind. This dBs is purely a benefit. That's a fringe benefit. I'm tuning it for lows and for wind. However loud it gets on the meter, don't care. It's doable, those two. It is doable. In fact, but honestly, though, for a sixth order for SQ, I would probably do a parallel sixth and not a series sixth. That said, something weird in a console might be interesting. Like a 6 or an 8 in a console. And a series sixth where the final port dumps out in the front, up under the dash. That may sound pretty badass. So, yeah. I got you. I know sixth orders are tricky, man. Sixth orders are weird. They have some weird caveats that don't quite work into the math for everything. You got the math for this, the math for this, and the math for this. And then at the end, you go, oh, I got to do this and this. Oh, now that sounds good. It's like a T-line. You can work all the math, but when you get done building it, you got to, man, it's not quite. And you got to go stuffing in there and trying to kill the resonances and all that crap. Then all of a sudden, after playing with it a while, you go, oh, yeah. Now it's good. Mostly. That's how a sixth order is. It's not a one-stop shop, it's a tweak machine. They're amazing though. Group delay, yep, 100%. It all depends on what you're trying to do, man. But yeah, really impressed with mine, absolutely. Coordinates, and I do notice a difference between Bluetooth and wireless Android. And the problem with that is, do you really notice it, or do you notice it because you know it should be there? That's the thing. So in order to really, you're going to have to be hit from the blind side with it to know whether or not you really notice that. But again, I had the thing with the Doobie Brothers, and I can't explain that shit. So I'm in a weird spot, man. Blown Fuse said, I plan to get that DSP. Yeah, it's a solid DSP, man. Solid. Mike Harris said, you won't regret it. Rescue system running active 3-way front stage with it. Yep. I wish I didn't drive a company truck. I'd love to put a system in a freight shaker. Oh, I put a system in my Kenworth and my Peterbilt. Yeah, I just put the shit in, dude. All you do is just run a DSP setup. So there's a lot of ways you can go about it, but you don't even need to use a radio. Just use a Bluetooth DSP, and then you just run it straight from your phone or from a tablet in your truck. You could even run it with your, if you've got the Garmin or the Ram McNally that has the online functionality, you could run straight stream from that. There's all kinds of options, but yeah, you just stream straight into your DSP, and then have that patched into a 5 channel amp. Put a sub back there underneath your bunk, and then get a couple of the Marine speaker pods from somebody. It don't matter who, and you mount those speaker pods with those little the mounts on your ingress handles. When you go in the door, that handle you grab, mount one of those suckers on either side on your ingress egress handles, and then run that off the amp, and then run a sub underneath your bunk over towards the driver's side. There's a space right in that area. Set it right there. And if you want to be really complete, you can either wire in your two 5.5 or your two 5x7s on the back wall, or you could put a couple more of those little pods back in the back. And all of this stuff, none of it actually gets mounted in a way that changes the truck. So you can just unhook it and move it to a different truck. Fairly easy. Pro tip. You could also use like an overhead for a Jeep kind of a thing, where you got a speaker bar that goes up over your head. You could do that. Another option is to put I had this in mind for a while too. You get one of those really nice sound bars for a big screen TV, the big like 80-inch TV, really nice sound bars with the subwoofer, and you mount that sound bar up in your overhead, up underneath your overhead, so it's down below it. You may have to drill a couple holes for mounts there, but you can mount that there and then have the subwoofer sitting over in the passenger floorboard. That setup has a Bluetooth hookup to it too. Will blow your mind how good that sounds. Because a truck is a great space to put audio in. It's so roomy that the sound matures and it sounds really good. See, I did a whole bunch of builds in company trucks. So yeah, I've been there, done that. Let's see here. Stu says, now we're thinking. Gomez says, when adding a new lithium in the trunk, can I combine the power wires currently going to the 2 amps from the AGM to feed the positive post on the lithium? Oh God, he said CCA. No, get rid of that. Don't do that. Get rid of that CCA, dude. Just get rid of it. You're going to want to run the different gauges. Combine them. You can't. Oh wait, let me see. Going to 2 amps, one from AGM to feed the positive. Okay, so you're running. Yeah. You can combine them, yes, and then kick back off the battery. But I highly suggest that you rid yourself of that CCA, replace it with a second alt gauge wire. Run both of those back there, and then come off of the battery located in the back with a 4 gauge, with an oxygen-free copper 4 gauge run into that amplifier, and then a alt gauge run into the other amplifier. You need a small distribution block, preferably one with fuses in it, and you'll run from the power straight to the battery in the back from the front, and then you'll jump off the power of the battery straight over, as short as you can, over to a distribution block. The distribution block, you could probably get away, if you're just using a short jump, you could probably get away with a single alt gauge run, and then run, if it's like, less than a foot long, and then run a power. I don't know how much power you're pulling, but probably not a tremendous amount. Then run an alt gauge over to your big amp, and then a 4 gauge OFC over to your smaller amp. And that distribution block needs to have a fuse for both of those. So you need a fuse for the alt gauge and a fuse for that 4 gauge as well. That's the ideal scenario. But to answer your question, yes, you can do that. I break out in hives every time I get around copper clad aluminum. I've had so many horrible things happen because of that wire. Blown fuse. I will not use any type of wireless connection. I currently use a desktop DAC as my source for my van. Awesome. Awesome. Kyle said, got it yet? Hey, man, it was good talking to you and looking at your stuff. Hopefully you'll figure it out. You'll figure out what you're going to do. Hopefully we gave you some ideas, though, as to different directions to look into. Have a good night, man. Yeah, no doubt. That B2 is going to save you a bunch of money if you go that route. Let's see here. Emmett says, I want to integrate the factory system. That's the problem. Gotcha. Stu, I got my dash back. The truck this weekend can't haul wood in the Tahoe. Well, you can. You shouldn't. That's the thing. You shouldn't haul wood in the Tahoe. Guys, it's been a great night. We're going to get the duck out of here, Delia. Y'all have a good one. It's time to shut her down. Get the duck out.
Yeah. Yeah. Out here banging up and down the street, slamming it to the ground. Big subwoofers are getting loud. You can feel the booming sound. Getting ready to go. Got it shined up for the show. Hours charging, amps are amping, gonna let the woofers blow. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. We got more at home. Another one bites the dust. Wires are glowing and the amps smoking. Subs are cherry red. Let me keep jamming, gotta keep the bass slamming. Gonna go hard till they're dead. Full power, gotta let it go. 20 hertz in the floating air. Sparks are flying, voice coils are frying, and the smoke is in the air. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. Hey, we got more at home. Another one bites the dust.